Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Vasko. Today we're going to be doing a Photoshop tutorial. For those of you who have been here before, welcome back. Thank you for watching. For those of you who are finding this channel for the first time, if you like this kind of content, hit the subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. I'm trying to help this channel grow. We're trying to make this channel grow. So today we're going to be talking about high pass and all the different ways you can use high pass to enhance a photo, from enhancing the eyes to the skin texture to creating an artificial fog in the background for a landscape photo. So yeah, high pass is a pretty cool technique. So if you're just getting into photography and learning Photoshop, this is the tutorial for you. Let's check it out. All right, so here we go. We are going to talk about high pass, and I'm going to show you how to use high pass in 5 scenarios, right? Number 1, I'm going to teach you how to use high pass to sharpen just the eyes. 2, I'm going to show you how to use high pass to sharpen the skin and the textures on the body. 3, I'm going to show you how to use high pass to make the subject matter pop from the background. 4, I'm going to teach you a few little tricks to fix high pass, because high pass does create some issues with images, especially when working with red tones. So I'm going to show you how to spot those and fix those. And finally, 5, bonus tip, I'm going to show you how to create artificial fog using high pass. So you can also create like an artificial bokeh as well using this technique. So we're going to get into that right now. All right, so in Photoshop, this is Asha, beautiful model over here that I love to work with. She is stunning, love those eyes. She's usually more beautiful than this, but I'm just such a terrible photographer. But anyway, good thing I got Photoshop skills. So we're going to talk about high pass here. I'm going to show you how to create it. Control J or Command J on Mac to duplicate the layer. Then you just go filter, other, high pass. And the trick here is, this is the radius, right? So the bigger the radius, the more separation there is between textural or tonal areas of an image. So if my radius is really big like this, you can see this whole white area under the eye and the cheekbone and the area above the lips, and the lips are all gonna be like really separated, right? So this is gonna like create separation between bigger chunks of an image, right? And so as I move the radius down, you can see here, now as with the lower radius, we're creating separation between smaller segments or tonal areas within the image. So depending on what you're trying to do, you change the radius. What? So it's pretty simple stuff to figure out. First thing I'm going to show you how to do is use high pass to enhance the eyes. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a radius here that enhances the eyes. So let's see, I don't want to go 8, let's go a little bit. We want to get the fine lines and the details and the little hairs in the eyes, so, or eyelashes. Okay, 5.4. Let's go with 5.4. So now we have this. And what we're going to do now is you take this and you switch your blend mode to soft light. And let's zoom in here. So what you can see here is it created a lot of sharpening around the eyes. And it sharpened everything else in the image too, like the hair looks way too sharp and the skin tones look way too sharp. So what we're gonna do is mask that out. We're just gonna focus on the eyes here. So what you do is you click on this little icon right here, and that creates a mask. You hit Control I or Command I on a Mac, and what it does is it flips. So if you pay attention here, the white turns to black, boom. So when you have something in a mask that's black, it's red. Red means dead, red means it's cut off the layer. So there is no sharpening whatsoever now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the brush tool, we're gonna make sure it's white, and we're gonna paint in where we want the sharpening. So we want the sharpening just around the eyes, right? So another tip here, if you're new in Photoshop, if you pay attention here to the black and white, every time I hit X, it switches the colors around. So whatever colors you have in your palette here, if you hit X, it'll just flip back to front, front to back and forth. So I'll be doing that. All right, so now we have sharpened just the eyes. And that looks great. I like that. Eyes pop. Eyes are so important to be like, they have to be sharp in a good portrait. So I just blend it down. If you're new in Photoshop, maybe you want to keep everything in different layers. It's up to you. What we're going to do now is concentrate on enhancing the skin. So we don't want 4.5 because it's just a little too much detail. So maybe 30. 30 looks good to me. All right. So now we go to soft light blend mode. Now what I like to do with this too is I change the opacity to 30 as well. So there we go, 30. Let's take a look what we did here. Okay, So it just gives a little bit of pop to the image without making it look too much, too extra. Okay, so let's turn this off and on. So before, after. So you can see the darks get a little darker, the lights get a little lighter. It's just a little pop. It just makes everything, it just brings up that clarity a little bit. And the skin looks a little better too. Like, this background is pretty clean, but what I would do is I would create a mask. Let's invert that. And you hit the backslash, or is that forward slash, whatever slash this is, to show the mask area. So what we're gonna do is, with the white brush, we're just gonna paint in the areas where we want this texture. There we go. Boom, 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 super simple. And let's say, for example, now with the two high pass layers, the high pass on the eyes looks like it's too much. It doesn't look like it's too much here, but let's just assume it's too much because we did a double high pass there. So now we hit X to switch white to black, and we cut the eyes out. And there we go. And Command E to merge it down, and that's it. That is the how to enhance the eyes and how to enhance the overall skin tone. So now let's look at how to make subject matter pop from the background. All right, so here we have the lovely Molly Rennick, and you might have seen her on other vlogs here on the channel. I've shot her a few times. Beautiful goth model. She's a little rock and roller. She's actually in a band called Living Dead Girl. I'll throw the links down below in the description if you want to check her out. Give her a follow on social media. And okay, so we're gonna pop Molly off the background. And we shot this in the Dominican Republic. We went on a photo trip back in 2017. That was a fun trip. All those videos, by the way, are in the vlogs down below in my videos. So if you want to check out the vlog series, you can see the behind the scenes from this shoot in that series. Okay, so we duplicated the layer. Now we're going to filter other high pass. And our objective here is to pop Molly off the background. So we could go with a higher one. We're not really going to. See, the issue is, if we zoom in, see here between her hair and the background, and then her back, and then the drapes behind her. If we create that halo effect, it creates problems. So we're trying to minimize that halo effect. So we'll make the halo a little bigger by bringing up the number. So 92, 87, let's just go straight up 90. 90, all right. Same process again, blend mode, soft light, there we go. And then we're gonna create a mask. Now, the quick way to create a mask that's already cut out on a PC is you hold Alt and click the mask option, and there you go. It's already blacked out. I think that is Control click on a Mac. I'm not too sure. I stopped using Mac a little while ago. I moved fully to PC. Anyway, so right here, what we do is we take the brush tool, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut around the edge here. And let's make sure this is nice and soft. Yeah, it's pretty soft, okay. So we're just gonna cut around here, around here, around here. And this is pretty simple. You're just tracing around the subject matter. And what the high pass filter is going to do is going to create contrast just around the edges between the subject matter and the background. And boom, all right. Full screen, and we'll do a little before and after. So you can see the hair in the front gets a little darker and the background gets a little lighter in this area. Before and after. And then here in the jeans, or the jean shorts, the booty kind of pops a little bit more against the background. The only place where I see a problem is if you pay attention right here. When we do the high pass, what happens is the ink on the tattoos got a little too dark. So what we're gonna have to do is open up our mask again. And we're gonna get the black brush, hit X, shrink down the brush, and we're just gonna paint it in right here where the tattoos are. There we go. Because high pass makes darks darker and lights lighter. That's how it creates that illusion of sharpness. And let's just clean that up and take a look. Before and after. Okay, that's a lot better. A lot better. So there we go. That's how you pop the subject matter off the background using high pass. All right, so now we're gonna talk about situations where you don't necessarily want to use high pass, or you have to be careful when you use high pass. I mentioned earlier the halo effect that high pass creates. Now, high pass can also create a color halo, especially when using light skin tones in reds. So bright red lips or red clothing like this situation here. Okay, so let's duplicate the layer and filter, other, high pass. Okay, 50%, 49, make it even 50. Okay, so now if you take a look at the image, what you can see here is there's like a greenish hue happening, a greenish halo happening around the, I guess the swimsuit. Watch this. We go to soft light mode, and if we zoom in, can you see the green? This is a big rookie mistake. I see rookie Photoshoppers do this all the time. They use high pass to clean up their images, and it just looks like the model's got jaundice or something, right? So that is the problem. Let me show you how to fix it. Super easy, super easy. So this is just, the issue's created because there's a weird color tone, but you have a background image or a base image which has the correct color. So Control J to duplicate the layer, the background layer. You bring it on top of everything, and then you take the blend mode, you switch it to color. Boom, we're done. See the green, before, after, before, after. So when you put the background layer on top of everything and switch it to color layer, it kind of preserves all the colors in the image, because high pass sometimes messes with things, as you can see here. So that is the quick fix, just a quick little color layer, fix that up. All right, back to Molly Rennick. And what I'm gonna show you how to do here is create a fog, but this fog also blurs the background. So what you can do is you can kind of create the effect of more bokeh. So it looks like you're using a lens with a shallower depth of field. And this was shot with a Sony a7 III Metabones adapter and 24-70 EF lens. So we had a Canon lens on the Sony body for this one. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by duplicating the layer again. Filter, other, high pass. And what you can do is you can create actions for all of these different things. So you have actions for it. Okay, so our objective here is to blur this little peninsula rocks behind her and make it look like the foreground of the image is sharp, and then it falls into more of like a faded look in the background. Let's see, where do we want to go? We don't want to go there. We want a little bit higher. Okay, so let's try 60. Let's do 60, that looks good to me. All right, enter. So now, soft light. Now here's the trick. You take the actual high pass layer and you invert that. So Control I, boom. So now the background became super soft. As you can see, it looks like it's been blurred. And now that I'm looking at it, maybe that's too much. Let's go to 40 instead of 60. Okay, duplicate layer. Filter, other, high pass, 40. All right, blend mode, soft lights, and invert. And now we're gonna create a mask. So that looks a little better. It was a little too hazy before. All right, now what we're gonna do is with the mask layer, we're gonna hit the backslash, forward slash, whatever slash that button is. I always get this mixed up. And now everywhere we paint with red, that's gonna be cut out from the high pass layer. Now I'm just gonna do this really fast in a crude kind of way. What you'd wanna do is you wanna get in there and like blend the hairs nicely. The more time you spend cutting it out, the more believable it looks, and that's what you're looking for. But we're just, in the interest of saving time, I'm just showing you the technique here. All right. Okay, now the other thing too is we have this tree branch here and we have these leaves hanging here. Now when you're trying to make a fake bokeh, things are supposed to be sharp as they're closer to the camera and then fall off into fuzziness in the distance. So that will not work. So we're gonna have to color this in because that's closer to the camera lens, and this is definitely closer to the camera lens. All right, there we go. Now, the other thing is the beach looks like it's a little too soft. So what we're gonna do, let's turn this back on. We're gonna get a big brush like this, and we're just gonna give it a swoosh. There we go. Let's take a look at this image. We blurred the background. Now our f2.8 lens looks like an f1.2 lens. Yeah, if you want to go through all this trouble. But I mean, if you're shooting portraits for somebody, headshots, whatever, you know, it's a street portrait and there's like clutter in the background and it looks bad, this is a little trick you can do to defocus the background a little more. You can also do this with Gaussian blur as well, but I prefer the way this high pass blurs a little bit. We can see a little bit of a halo happening here above Molly's head. You see how it got a little dark right in this area. So let's see before and after. See that? So that's something you'd have to pay attention to and clean up. There we go. Depending on where it is, dodge and burn, but hair always takes a little bit of time. So that's how you create a softer background using high pass. And here we go, the dead tree. If you watched a couple videos ago, you know I shot this in the park with the EOS R5, and I really like this shot. Looks pretty cool, and it's a perfect example to demonstrate some fog. Let's create some fog with some high pass. All right, so duplicate the layer, filter other high pass. Now the trick with this is you got to do two high passes. One's going to be really tight and one's going to be a little broader. So or I guess radius tight and radius big. So let's go radius, let's do 4. Okay, 4, enter. So as you can see here, what we've done is we've taken all the fine little details, right? And zoom out again. Now we're gonna do blend mode soft light, and then we are gonna invert the layer. So Command I or Control I. And there we go. So you can see, if I zoom in here, all the fine little details are gone. See that? It looks like an old FD lens from back in the day. Almost looks like you're shooting with a disposable camera at times too, because it just takes, all the details are gone. It just looks like you're shooting through cellophane or plastic or using a plastic lens. So that's step 1. Step 2 is we go to the background layer again, we duplicate it, and we go filter other high pass. And for this one, we're going to take something a little broader. So here's what you have to look for in this situation. See around the tree branches here, we're getting that white halo. We got to bring up that radius until that halo disappears. So up. Okay, 179. Let's say 180. All right, there we go. Now we're going to go to soft lights, and then Control or Command I to invert it. Boom! But we're not done yet. There's one more step to go. You create a new blank layer, and then you select the color, like that would be like middle gray, somewhere like a light grayish, depending on the kind of fog you want to create. G tool, and you just paint it light gray. And then for the blend mode, you go multiply, and then we're going to change that layer opacity to 30%. And there we go. We've created artificial fog. So there's our before and there's our after. Actually, let me put all these into a folder here. There's before and after. So the other thing with fog too is you can layer it. So if you're shooting like a landscape and you have stuff in the distance, you can add more fog to stuff that's further away, and then more fog to stuff that's even further away than that. So things will start to disappear into the fog. It's pretty cool. So it doesn't make sense here because it's a sunny day, sunny fog. I don't think that that exists, but if you want to add a little mystery and intrigue into your images using fog, now you know how. All right, that's a wrap. I think we're done. We covered a lot of ground in a short amount of time, so thank you for watching. If you're into Photoshop and want to learn more, I will be making a lot more Photoshop tutorials in the future, as well as Premiere Pro tutorials if you're into learning about video. So subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know when I drop another tutorial. I would really appreciate that, trying to grow the channel. What else did I want to say? I want to say that there will be a blog post featuring the photos I used in this tutorial down in the description below. I'm going to be making blog posts to go along with all my videos going forward, so if you're into that kind of thing, check out the description. And that is it. We are done. Peace out. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys all have amazing creative days, and whatever inspires you, I hope you feel inspired and you make the most amazing stuff you've made all year. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.